This video provides a legal analysis of the Supreme Court case Lagao versus People of the Philippines. We will examine the facts, the court's ruling, and the critical legal principles regarding hearsay, causation, and reasonable doubt. On February 20, 2008, Anthony Narita suffered injuries, including a scalp laceration. Later that evening, he identified the petitioner, Benji Lagao, as his assailant to his father and acquaintances. No eyewitnesses were present during the incident. The victim did not seek immediate medical care and passed away 2 days later. The prosecution charged Lagao with homicide, relying on oral testimonies about the victim's out-of-court identification. The defense denied the charges entirely, citing the official death certificate, which listed natural causes like sepsis and pneumonia as the reason for death. The case hinged on out-of-court statements made during a casual drinking session. Because there were no eyewitnesses, the prosecution relied on hearsay to identify the assailant. The Supreme Court carefully scrutinized the admissibility of these statements as exceptions to the hearsay rule. This video now outlines the procedural history of the case, as it moved from the regional trial court through the Court of Appeals and ultimately to the Supreme Court of the Philippines. Initially, the RTC found the accused guilty of homicide. The Court of Appeals affirmed this conviction, admitting the victim's statements as res geste. However, the Supreme Court reversed the decision, ruling the statements inadmissible and the evidence insufficient. A central issue in this video is the inadmissibility of hearsay. We will explore why the victim's out-of-court statements failed to meet the stringent requirements for legal exceptions. The court found the statements did not qualify as a dying declaration, as the victim did not believe death was imminent. They were not res geste because the narrative was not spontaneous, and they were not independently relevant, as they were offered to prove the truth of the identity. Medical evidence presented a major conflict. While the autopsy suggested blunt force trauma, the death certificate, presented as a common exhibit, indicated natural causes. This unresolved medical contradiction created insurmountable doubt regarding the true cause of death. The constitutionally mandated presumption of innocence requires the prosecution to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. Given the inadmissible hearsay and the contradictory medical evidence, the prosecution failed to meet this burden. Under the equipoise rule, when evidence allows for two interpretations, one of guilt and one of innocence, the law must favor the latter. Finding that the lower court conclusions were mistaken, the Supreme Court re-evaluated the facts against the standard of moral certainty. Ultimately, the petition was granted. The Supreme Court acquitted Benji Lagao y Garcia of the charge of homicide, citing that the prosecution failed to establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. This video utilized imagery sourced from Vectizi. Thank you for watching this legal analysis.